Hi guys, and welcome back to History Hut for You, and this is our sort of last video episode on Elizabeth, where we'll be going through her kind of last years. So in her last years, the economy was not great. There was a lot of bad harvests throughout the 1590s. Sorry. Obviously, you then had the Armada with Spain. That is very expensive, even though they won, and even though they'd kind of getting further finances because of the pirateering and stealing the Spanish gold, it's still expensive to actually win the Armada. Because there's a lot of money, it means that kind of taxes go up. You then also have a lot of people moving into England, which means that kind of there's a scarcity for sort of food, so food prices go up, and so kind of inflation goes up, and the economy is just not great. You then have the 9 Years' War within Ireland, also known as Tyrone's Rebellion. This was from 1594, and it would then eventually lead into the kind of Essex Rebellion that we'll speak about later. There's prolonged war between them, in the sense that Elizabeth can't really fully solve Ireland. Initially, it sends out the Earl of Essex, Robert Devereux, 16,000 men. He goes to Ireland, signs like I think it's like a peace treaty behind his back, saying, "Yeah, I won't do anything." He then breaks it. He's like, "Oh, well, I'm sick of this," and just goes back to London. Hasn't been told to do that, but he's like, he can't be bothered. Now, when I can't speak, Lord Mountjoy is then kind of appointed, kind of replaces him, is a lot better than Essex, which is a bit concerning in the sense that Essex was kind of Elizabeth's new kind of favourite, in the sense she had a thing for him, even though she was about 40 years older. Anyway, he used kind of like scorched earth tactics, and it's also because the Spanish were trying to kind of take advantage of the situation in Ireland, especially with the Irish being Catholics. They tried sort of coordinating together to try and help, but Mountjoy able to defeat both of those at Kinsale. And then you also had George Carew support Mountjoy's campaign, able to secure Munster and sort of break the rebellion. I mean, it eventually ended in 1603. Yeah, about just after Elizabeth died. This then led to the Essex Rebellion. Obviously, Essex, we just spoken about, Robert Devereux. He decided, he's had enough of this. I can't remember if it was before or after, but he also had his sweet wine monopoly. He got rid of that. At one point, he turned his back on. He came to court. She was having a go at him. He turned his back on the Queen. That's a very good thing to do, mate. I'm pretty sure. I think she slapped him around the face. I mean, good on her. Very deserved. So as a result, he tried to rebel. He tried rallying Londoners against the government. And it didn't work at all. But I mean, it is a tad concerning in the sense that it was Elizabeth's kind of last favourite guy she had a thing for. And he essentially threw a paddy because he didn't get his way, and so rebelled. It was a bit shocking. But sort of easily quashed. Didn't really pose much of a threat to Elizabeth. By 1603, the economy was not great. Nearly bankrupt, and obviously a lot of war, especially with Spain. Ireland, there wasn't really much success with Ireland. As I said, they kind of quashed the Essex Rebellion. Sorry, not the Essex Rebellion, the Tyrone Rebellion. But this wasn't really until Elizabeth already died, so didn't really do anything for her. And they wouldn't really conquer Ireland until quite a bit later. And also, just kind of socially, for a lot of the people, as we discussed in the last video, we kind of spoke about a golden age. There was still high taxation, poor harvests, high food prices. So kind of then led to the implementation of the poor laws, which a lot of people now kind of relied on because of the hardship that they've kind of undergone. There was a bit more political stability. Obviously, at this point, people kind of accepted Elizabeth a bit more. obviously 1603, so she's about dead. But I mean, um, in the first like 20 odd years, you get people sort of questioning her kind of legitimacy, her authority, her being a Protestant. But after that, it just kind of goes away. Despite Essex Rebellion, I wouldn't class that as kind of impactful. I'd just say he's throwing a paddy because he didn't get what he wanted. Um, it Elizabeth also helped to kind of elevate the position of Elizabeth. No, I've just said Elizabeth. Elizabeth helped to elevate the position of England, respect to power. Obviously, not one of like the kind of dominant major powers, I'd say, in Europe at the time. That's still quite France and Spain, but a force to be reckoned with, I guess you could say. Obviously, defeating Spain, and yeah, also then kind of cemented the position of the monarch in place of the government. Um, yeah, you then have the throne passed to the Stuarts, um, because Elizabeth has no heir, because she doesn't have a husband, so she doesn't have a child. They pass it to the Stuarts. So it goes to James VI of Scotland, who then becomes James I and the Sixth, because has to make it complicated. Obviously, uniting the crowns of Scotland and England. So at 1603, it's just kind of a bit of a reiteration. There was a somewhat smooth transition, but I mean, it was just kind of expected at some point. It had to go to the Stuarts, because who else is it going to go to? Because Elizabeth didn't want a man. But yeah. And yeah, established England as a Protestant power, and they kind of do maintain that kind of Protestantism for quite a while. Did about it in my sort of uni lecture, because I'm doing, I think, about the early modern British Isles. And yeah, England is predominantly Protestant up until past 1688 after the Glorious Revolution. So yeah, I mean, like, even 100 years, about 100 odd years after Elizabeth's gone, England remains Protestant, and there's not like a yo-yo like there was with the Tudor times. So I mean, that's probably better for the people, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's actually it for Elizabeth. I think I've got everything. Obviously, this isn't like incredible detail for all of it. But if there's anything else you guys want me to cover, or kind of like want to message me or whatever, please stick it in the comments, so I'll try and respond when I can, and I'll just send stuff over. So yeah, thanks guys, and I will try to work on the America content now when I can. Yeah, bye.